everyone, welcome back to the layout, the Union Pacific Railroad Evanston subdivision in HO scale. My name is Daryl Cruz, owner and builder of the layout, and your host for a very special Broadway Limited Union Pacific 4884 Big Boy review. After all these many years that I've been in modeling and modeling the Union Pacific, I finally have my very first Big Boy on the layout. Make sure you subscribe and like this video, very much appreciated. So I finally got myself to get a Big Boy, and I got the Broadway Limited Industries Big Boy. Finally purchased it just last week. Actually, I purchased it while I was on vacation, and it came just as I got back. And here you can see me unboxing it. I paid $500 for it. Now it retails for $850 for the sound version, $750 for the stealth version, which is without sound and DCC. And I purchased the stealth version, believe it or not, for $500, which was a pretty good discount off of the $750. And the lowest price I saw of anywhere around. Here you can see some of the parts that come with it. Some traction tires, smoke deflectors, a decal for a Big Boy, some couplers for the front of the locomotive if there's some double heading going on. And that's the smoke deflector there. But anyway, I've paid $500 for the stealth version, great price. And then I also purchased a ESU Loksound 5 decoder with the Big Boy Sound Project loaded onto it. So altogether, it was $600, and I did have a sound. And I wanted to get ESU because I haven't heard a lot of great things about Paragon 4 or 3 from Broadway Limited, and I always liked the ESU, so I decided to go this different route. Now, if you notice, what I'm doing here is trying to figure out what's the best way to pick this thing up. It's heavy, it's die-cast metal, and I didn't want to hurt any of the details, in which there are plenty of details. And so a lot of what I was doing was trying to figure out, okay, how is the best way to pick this up and move it, because it was very heavy, so you have to kind of grab it pretty tightly so that you don't drop it. But it turns out this is an extremely sturdy locomotive. The die-cast boiler and die-cast tender really make it quite hefty, and it's also very strong. The details seem to be firmly attached. So I was pretty impressed with that, but I wanted to, as you can see, I was trying to be as careful as possible because I didn't want to break anything as I was working on it. Now, first thing I wanted to do is put in the decoder. And I talked to the Broadway Limited representative at the Amherst show, and he said that all their new locomotives in stealth also come with a speaker. So even though they don't have sound or DCC, they do have a speaker, and they have a 21-pin MTC socket, so that you can just plug in, unplug the what's in the socket, and then plug in your decoder of choice. I hate wiring in decoders, so I was pretty happy with that, and had decided at that time that I would get the Stealth series and then put in an ESU decoder. I have a kind of, as time goes on, I'm really starting to favor ESU as my favorite decoder. They really have some great sounds, and you'll just comparing the sounds from this decoder to what the Tsunami has for the FEF that I also have was quite a difference, and definitely much higher quality. And I am here removing some of the screws that you need to remove. I found out you also need to remove the coupler here. Now, I wasn't really sure exactly where the decoder was, whether it's in the locomotive or in the tender. I was kind of, they had a picture of the socket, but you really couldn't see for sure where it was located. But I kind of figured it would be in the tender. That's where the speaker usually is. So I figured I'd take the tender shell off first, and then if it wasn't there, I would do the boiler. All right, so here we are, and trying to get the tender shell off. So there wasn't any big secret on how to remove the tender. A lot of times they kind of have latches and so forth that make it difficult to figure out how it comes off. But here are just some screws, 4 screws in the coupler. Once that's off, then the shell comes right off, and sure enough, you do have the decoder plug, or the 21-pin MTC socket plug. So if you run it on DC, then you leave that socket plug in there. And if you want to do DCC, then you remove this little socket plug, and then you put in your decoder. So I was very carefully trying to get that off without hurting any of the other electronics. Okay, so it just looks like a small decoder basically. And then I put in the ESU. I had this ESU decoder loaded with the Big Boy Sound project that ESU has. River OC, for their Big Boy, uses ESU sound decoders. Here you can see it in the socket. You have to make sure the little black bar goes up and the components go down. Here you get a good look at the speakers. Pretty good sized speakers there. But anyway, ESU does the decoder for River OC, and I heard some of those sounds in reviews, and I liked them a lot, so figured it would work for this Broadway limited model. Here you can see some of the details. Now, if you look closely, there's a piece of hair. I'm pretty sure it's mine. It's gray by the front driver there. I didn't notice that till this was all recorded and everything. That's not a detail part, and it has been since removed. Really outstanding detail, and I really like the glossy finish. And then you can see also there is an engineer in here, and it is lighted. I have the light turned on, and there you can kind of see it. But I think that's very cool. Very good rivet detail for being a die-cast. Still has great detail on the die-cast body, and then of course a lot of added details that really make it look nice. Has the marker lights at the back, green and red. They are both lit up at the same time. Here you can see the top again, some very nice rivet detail on the die-cast tender there. Some more great detail that's cast in, and then a bunch of added details. Lots of piping. Handrails are very well done. Bell looks nice. Beautiful, beautiful locomotive. Here you can see it from the other side. It has a lot of random sounds, by the way. We can get a look at the headlight. The headlight is not as white as it looks like in the video. It's more golden color. So it looks better in person than it does on the video. Again, a lot of really great details, all kinds of piping, a lot of side rod actions and valves and so forth. And there you have the fireman. I think the fireman is on this side and the engineer's on the other side. Not sure about that though. Again, the glossy finish looks real nice. That's how they're doing the excursion locomotives now, and the more glossy finish. So if you ever had a chance to see the big boy in real life, you will know that it is a very glossy finish, and they keep it clean. So I'm not going to weather this at all. Try and keep it looking pretty nice. This came with the wires already plugged in. So there is a plug to go from the locomotive to the tender, but it's already plugged in and comes together. You don't have to worry about that. And there you can see the little pin and the latch from the tender. That's all you have to do is hook it up to that pin, and then you're all set and ready to go. Gorgeous locomotive. And it is weighs a ton and pretty much will pull anything. You will see some of the sounds. There's the whistle with the quilling. Been trying to figure out what the sequence is. Sometimes there's a quilling before, sometimes after, sometimes before and after, sometimes not, but it sounds really cool. Again, compared to the Athearn soundtracks, Decoder and the FEF don't have that quilling that you do for this one. You hear the long and the short horn whistles. That's the bell, of course. And I'm kind of going through different ones. There's probably about 15, 16 different sounds, and couplers, blow down valves, all kinds of different things. I'm not going to go and list them all. ESU, if you look up their sound project, they have a list of all the sounds. So what function keys will activate each sounds. One thing I really like about the sounds on the ESU is that they have a lot of really cool random sounds, and then also sounds that are appropriate to what's going on with the locomotive. For example, if you change direction, there's a sound for changing the valve for reverse and forward. And when it comes to a stop, there's a brake squeal. And then just a lot of different sounds that really make the locomotive come to life. Again, the Athearn with the soundtracks basically just has the horn, the whistle, the bell, and they all have to be activated. Nothing really is automatic except for the chuffing, unless I am missing something on that. Here we'll see some slow speed operations. This is a very, very smooth running locomotive. That was at speed step 1. Very, very nice smooth start and slow speeds. Here I kind of went up a couple of, I think I went straight up to 5 on my throttle. So I'm stopped it again, and we're going now from 1 to 2. I think I went up as high as 4 to see how it handles the slow speeds. It's really cool to watch the side rods move in conjunction with side rods. I'm not sure if it's synchronized with side rods or with the pistons yet. I'm sure some of you out there will be able to let me know if it's too fast or too slow. Looks good to me. Very, very smooth. Very easy to control the speed of the locomotive at the slow speed. So that was from speed step 1 through 4. And there you hear the brake squeal. And here we are. We're going to go ahead and take it across the layout a bit. This famously went from Cheyenne to Ogden and then on to Promontory Point in 2019. And then after the 150-year celebration of the Golden Spike at Promontory Point, the Locomotive and Consist went back from Promontory to Ogden and then back to Cheyenne. So this is trying to put together that same train. So I have the big boy, nice and glossy finish with a water tender, the FEF, which is also I'm not trying to cut it down. It's a very, very nice locomotive. Like it a lot. I just like the sounds better on the ESU big boy. So here I am cranking it up a little bit more. We're starting here coming through Morgan. So if you've seen some videos of this trip that this special train made back in 2019, hopefully this will look somewhat familiar to what you see on those videos for the actual trip. Now one thing, there you hear the horn, or the whistle. I keep saying horn, whistle. There's no crossing here. I'm just blowing it for the railroad fans along the right-of-way. And so we're cranking it up here pretty good. It's interesting while watching this, the difference in the speed of the drivers on the big boy, which has smaller drivers, and the speed and the chuffs of the FEF, which has much larger drivers. Now both these locomotives have traction tires, and they both pull very, very hard and are great pullers. The big boy especially, with a die-cast boiler and traction tires, it'll pull anything. I could have the FEF and the rest of the train, the diesel locomotive and all cars shut off, and it would pull this train all by itself. Now one thing that's been a little difficult, here we're coming into the Taggart Tunnel area. That's the Weber River. This is the scenery that I'm going to be working on next. But one thing with them, both of them being really great pullers, I have to make sure that the speed is matched perfectly. Because if I'm backing up or coming down the helix and going forward, if one goes faster or slower than the other, it'll derail the tenders. So if I'm backing up and this big boy pushes too hard against the FEF, then those two tenders in between the locomotives will derail. Too much pressure. And then same thing between the FEF and the diesel. So I've been kind of working on getting things equalized as much as possible so that we don't have the tenders derailing. I skipped some area there because it's unfinished track. We're going to try and stick to the modeled section here. We're back to Castle Rock area now. Again, hopefully this will look like what those videos you may have seen, or if you were actually there watching it. I did not get a chance to see it, but it is coming to Chicago, I think, this fall. This summer it's going to be in going west to California, and then come fall it's going to come towards Chicago. So I live in the Chicago area, so I definitely will be trackside when it comes in. And more through the Wasatch grade, coming up to the Wasatch control point and into Evanston. This is Curvo. Catch it coming out the other end. Pass by a train going in the other direction. All right, coming up the Wasatch Grade. I've been having a lot of fun running these locomotives together, going up this grade and around the layout. It's a beautiful models of a really cool train, a really cool prototype. And this is the Wasatch Summit. And we're heading into Evanston here. First we're going to pass the UTLX tank car repair facility. I'm getting pretty good at doing the whistle. Here's a little crossing I was blowing it for. I'm not sure why that signal is red, but we're gonna, as you'll see, we're gonna run it anyway. Coming past the Evanston engine facilities and then past the Evanston yard, slowing down here a little bit. Going through town. All the backdrops on the layout, by the way, are actual photos. Photos that I have taken while I was out there, and also some photos from Google Streets. You can hear all the different random sounds that come on. It's pretty cool. Not really sure what they all are. I'm sure some steam locomotive experts will know as we come across another manifest train headed in the other direction. Again, the rest of the Evanston yard. Past the Evanston station. When we run this excursion train, they usually have it stop. So normally it would stop here at the Evanston station, probably on the other track for people to come see. And usually stop in Morgan also and Echo along the line. I'm kind of backing up here because I wanted to catch the new crossing that I put in. This is powered by Logic Rail Technologies, and these are old Tomar signals. Still kind of adjusting them. Want to get it so that they activate sooner, and then because right now, as you saw, the crossbars came down right before it got there. But it's been pretty cool development, and I really like the animation. Well, that's the Broadway Limited Big Boy. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Take care, everybody.